cells. We have more cells than anybody. We have more mineral density than anybody. And we have more light cold frequency to heal any other race. All right. So this jewel's for everybody. Now, when you start getting into the cells, you notice that a cell functionality is just like yours. You have to eat for you can yield energy, or what you call ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is what yields the body vitality for you can live your everyday life. Same way you have to eat, your cells have to eat. You have a digestive system where you can get rid of the eliminatory rate, or you can get rid of the process and byproduct food from your body metabolizing the fuel. Whenever your body metabolizes a fuel, you have a blowback. For instance, if you put fuel in your car and you fill your car with all this good gas, it can be good or bad gas. Notice that you have the exhaust pipe. That exhaust pipe is there for a reason, because the combustion and converting or metabolizing that fuel and that high octane that you just put in your car, there's a waste that's going to be produced from it. And that's the reason why you have the exhaust pipe, to get rid of it, because it's creating carbon dioxide. So notice every system of anything that operates, anything that moves, or anything that goes through motion have a elimination pathway. All right, so your cells eat. So if your cells eat, that means your cells have to break down their food. Your cells drink. So if your cells hydrate, they have to urinate out the hydration that they brought in. Your cells are miniature U's. Your cells have a Golgi apparatus, which acts as the respiratory system of the cells. Your cells have a digestive system, which is called the mitochondria system, or what they call the exosomes and the lysosomes of the cells. Your cells have a rebirthing process, what you would literally call what you would call the ribosome of the cell. That's the rebirthing process. Your cells actually have skin, or excretory system. You see that? Or what they call the cellular membrane. The cells actually have a brain inside of them, which is literally called the nucleus of the cells. The cells have a gonads, which is the DNA fragment that's inside of the nucleus of the cell. The cells even have its own electrical system. It's called negative chain ionic channels, meaning that the cell is a miniature you. The cells eat, the cells poop, the cells breathe, the cells, they have a community. That's why you have certain, they call lymphatic associated tissues, or you have digestion associated tissues. You have cardiac associated tissues. You have cells just to make up the circulatory system. You have cells just to make up the lymphatic system, showing you that cells even are very, very communal, and they only deal with themselves. You have thymus cells. You have liver cells. You have cervical cells. You have different cells that make up different parts of your body, showing you how complex your body truly is. So you have 150 trillion cells. Out of these 150 trillion cells, 100 cells is not even yours. It belongs to something called the microbiota. And what the microbiota just means, it just means organisms, things that is living entities that make up the human body. See, you think that you're just you, and you're not. You're made of 150 trillion cells. 100 trillion cells are made up of microorganisms. Right? Now, these organisms have to eat. If they have to eat, they have to poop. If you constantly eat and you never poop, you would die, because you will become septic. Meaning that all of your poop and all that metabolic process will back up in your body, and then it will get into the bloodstream. Your bloodstream will change its potential hydrogen, or what we call pH balance, and then you will die of acidosis. Well, that's the same thing that happens to this body. When you get constipated, you back up, then you get headaches, and you start feeling all that pressure because you have too much metabolic waste built up into your digestional tract. Well, same thing happened to the cells. When the cells are eating and the cells is pooping, and you don't have anything to collect that waste, to get rid of that waste, then you become cellular constipated. And that's where all disease truly come from. It's cellular constipation, because this cellular constipation is actually what suffocates the cell. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because just like the car I was talking about, and when you created the car had a eliminatory digestive system called the exhaust pipe. You have the same thing, and this is called your colon, or it's called the lymphatic system, y'all. So get y'all pens and y'all paper, because we finna go in. Now check this out. You have 4 keys to the kingdom, and these 4 keys to the healing kingdom is called digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. Okay, that's the 4 keys to the kingdom. If these 4 things are right, then everything in your body will be at a state of homeostasis. Digestion is when you eat your food and your food actually breaks down properly. All right, because in order for you to absorb the food, you have to be able to digest the food. Now, I'm gonna give y'all all the keys, y'all. I'm not holding nothing back. Now, write this down. What's a part of the digestive system? It starts with your mouth. Your teeth is the first part of the digestive digestive system, right? You eat the food, then you start breaking and tearing and grinding this food up. Then once you do that, you have something called amylase. Amylase and trypsin. Amylase and trypsins are alkaline salivary lymph fluids that actually squirt from your salivary glands to help break down these foods. That's the second part of digestion. You're starting to get into the tonsils. The tonsils are secreting all types of different types of mucus to help wrap that food to break it down. You have the salivary glands that's secreting all these different types of saliva that's alkaline, by the way, to help break this alkaline food down. And that's why it's important that we're on an alkaline diet. You see that? Then it goes down the esophagus. When it goes down the esophagus, you have different mucosa membranes that's sticking out your esophagus that's constantly wrapping the food, getting it prepared to actually pass through something called the cardiac sphincter. Now, what the cardiac sphincter is this little door that connects the esophagus to the stomach. It passes through the cardiac sphincter, and the reason why it's called the cardiac sphincter is because it's closest to your heart, which is what we call your cardiac kick or your cardiac pump. Then it enters into what you call the fungus of the stomach. All right, you have the fungus of the stomach, you have the body of the stomach, and then you have the enterium of the stomach. These are the three parts of the stomach. Once it goes through the fungus, the cardiac sphincter closes, and then it get wrapped in more mucus. By the time they get to the body, what happens is your body start releasing these different types of pancreatic enzymes that's from the pancreas into the duodenum, getting it ready to break down the food more. So now we are passing through the digestive tract, because remember, the first key is digestion. We got the teeth, which is to break and grind up the food. We got the salivary glands, which is producing all types of trypsin and amylase, and these are mucus that's just wrapping the food to keep the food prepared to breaking down. Then you got all these different mucus glands that's on the actual esophagus before the cardiac sphincter, and then it meets the stomach. Now the stomach is a part of the digestion process. Now inside of the stomach sac, the sac is starting to produce something called hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen. This is where you get the word Pepto-Bismol from. It helps coat the stomach. Well, pepsinogen is created when mucus and acids or hydrochloric acid is mixed together. This pepsinogen then starts to break and decay the food down more. Then once that happens, you go into something called the pyloric sphincter. This is another door at the tail end of the stomach that actually connects itself to the duodenum. Now the duodenum is where the next stage of the keys that I'm talking about. Once the food is breaking down and they get to the duodenum is this 9-inch small intestinal bowel tract. And inside this 9-inch small intestinal bowel tract, you have the liver. The liver is connected to the gallbladder is connected to the pancreas, and all these things are simultaneously connected to the duodenum. And the reason why is because the liver is creating something called bile. And these bowels create basal salts. And this bile helps break down food. Not only that, you have the pancreas, which is one of the largest digestive organs in the body. And the pancreas is sending over 4 different thousands of digestive enzymic reactions to help break down the food, showing you that your body is a biological food processor. Everything in your body works towards breaking down your food, because without food, you do not get energy. And there's different stages of food. You got the animal kingdom that gives you high stimulant proteins that's killing our black asses. Then from up there, you got the vegetable kingdom that's full of nitric acid that's not killing us, but it is creating a lot of proteins and a lot of mineral content that our bodies cannot break down. Then after that, you have the fruit kingdom, which we are frugivores, and that's the fruit diet that we're supposed to be on. Then there's other levels up from there. You got liquids, or what we call fruitarian liquids, where you drinking nothing but fruit juices. Then from up there, you have actual breatharianism. Now, breatharianism is your highest form of getting air and converting that air and breaking that air down into all your carbon constituent chains and sugars that you need to actually process. And that's what trees do. Notice trees live off breatharianism, and you are the closest to a plant than any other creature in nature. So that shows you your high yielding food and where we're supposed to be working to. And I'm just saying that because it's going to prove something later on down the line. So once the food actually get inside the digestional tract, or what we're going to call the duodenum, this small 9-inch intestinal tract, the food is already broken down as much as it can be. Now, inside of this duodenum, you have something called microvilli. And these microvilli are nothing but little fingers that sticks up from the duodenum of the stomach. And inside this, the duodenum and these microvilli, you have trillions and trillions of bacteria. You might find some bifidobacteria in there, some lactobacillus bacteria in there, some candida bacteria. And what these bacteria are what I call the ancestors, these ancient organisms, prokaryotic cells cells that's been here since the beginning of time. The reason why they're in your body to do this, what they do is they literally taking all the broken down food, or what we call phytonutrients, that the stomach acid done broken down now that's inside the duodenum. These microvilli go through the microvilli and pick up all these different phytonutrients. It might be minerals, trace minerals. It might be amino acids that you need, acetylcholine. It might be neuromelanin transmitters that you need. It might be curcumitins. It might be saponins. It might be tannins. It might be bioflavonoids. It might be biophotons. It might be a little bit of solatine particles from the sun, or what we call chloroplasts or chlorophyll.